Are you tired of feeling like your stomach has its own agenda? Like the bloating, gas, or constant trips to the bathroom are running your life? Welcome to the Beyond Bloated podcast, the podcast where we tackle those frustrating gut issues head on, without strict diets or giving up your favorite foods. I'm Carly, a certified gut health coach who's been there, struggling with bloating that made me look 6 months pregnant, gut pain that kept me from enjoying meals, and fatigue so draining it felt impossible to get through the day. Now, I help women like you find freedom from those symptoms and take back control of their lives. Each week, we'll debunk gut health myths, dive into simple, actionable tips, and hear stories from women who've been exactly where you are. It's time to feel confident, energized, and bloat-free. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Beyond Bloated podcast, or welcome for the very first time. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have saw that I was doing a continuous glucose monitor experiment, CGM for short, because I'm not going to say continuous glucose monitor 20 times during this podcast. In that experiment, I wore a CGM on my arm for 2 weeks, and I tested different foods, different exercises, stress levels, sleep, all the things to see how those external factors impacted my blood sugar levels. I wanted to do this because I am a huge data nerd. You may or may not know, I have a math degree. I love numbers. I love hard facts, the data. So even though I know on a day-to-day basis, I eat pretty balanced, I wanted to see, is it true? Are my meals spiking my blood sugar levels? I also wanted to see how exercise and other things were impacting them as well, because that's something that I can't necessarily control. Stress is something that happens. Exercise, it's good for us, but that doesn't mean it's not impacting things like our blood sugar levels. So I just wanted to live my life for 2 weeks and see how my blood sugar levels reacted. It also tied very nicely into my bloat-free summer challenge, which is running right now. If you missed it this time, no worries. I'm sure I will do another free challenge again in the future. But right now, I am working with a wonderful group of women, and we are working on habits to help balance our blood sugar levels. If you missed last week's episode, I highly recommend you go check that out. Those are the habits that we are working on inside of my bloat-free summer challenge. So even if you missed the sign-up period and you're not in there with us right now, you can still work on the habits and start improving your own blood sugar levels by implementing those things on your own. So it is not a wash. Go check that episode out. I will link it in the show notes so you can be a part of it too. I want to reassure you that you do not need a CGM to balance your blood sugar levels. Like I said, I am a huge health nerd, data nerd. I wanted to see it. If you also want to see it, by all means, go grab a CGM and see the data for yourself, but it is absolutely not necessary. You can balance your blood sugar levels without a CGM. It can be a super insightful tool, but not necessary. What a continuous glucose monitor is a small wearable device that tracks your blood sugar, aka your glucose levels, in real time throughout the day and night. You literally plug that bad boy into your arm, you wear it 2 weeks straight, it does not come off, and you do this instead of having to prick your finger for a spot check. The CGM gives you a continuous stream of data. Usually it updates every 5 or so minutes, so you literally have a chart of data for the entire day, opposed to just spot checking your finger at random times throughout the day. I posted a reel on my Instagram of me putting the CGM on. So if you're interested in how that works, what that looks like, head to @beyond.bloated on Instagram and look for that reel. But basically what it is a little tiny sensor that gets inserted usually in your arm. And this sensor measures the glucose levels in the interstitial fluid, which is the fluid that surrounds your body's cells. The sensor is connected to a transmitter, which then sends the glucose data to an app that you install on your phone. Most CGMs are worn for 10 to 14 days. The one I had was good for 2 weeks, so 14 days, and it did not require any calibration or finger pricks during the time period. I will say it took about 24 hours for it to be accurate. For the first 24 hours, it told me my blood sugar levels were extremely low. And I was like, is that true? But after 24 hours, it like calibrated itself and then we were good. When you head to the app, it'll show you a live graph of your blood sugar levels across the day, which gives you information on how your body responds to the different meals that you ate, your exercise, stress levels, and even your sleep. You'll also be able to see trends, so glucose trends, like when your blood sugar rises, falls, when it's stable, all that good stuff, as well as when it spikes and when it crashes and the overall stability of it all. So it's just a 2-week period of data where you can kind of make connections on, okay, I ate this meal at this time twice in the 2-week period, and both times it was a spike. So maybe that wasn't the best choice, things like that. And yes, this is an extremely useful tool, even if you do not have diabetes. The CGM gives you insight into how your unique body responds to specific foods, eating patterns, and lifestyle habits. For example, 2 people could eat the exact same meal and have completely different blood sugar responses. So it is a powerful way to personalize your nutrition and habits so you can have better energy, digestion, mood, and even hormone balance. As I mentioned, you do not need a CGM to improve your blood sugar regulation. You can also go on how you feel. So if you experience a lot of energy crashes in the afternoon, sugar cravings, you just have poor energy in general, your sleep is disrupted, maybe you wake up very alert at 2 a.m., you're bloated, things like that are a pretty good sign that your blood sugar is likely not being balanced throughout the day. So you can also go off of how you feel versus needing to get a CGM to work on this aspect of your health. I live an extremely healthy lifestyle now. If you have listened to my previous episodes, you know that was not always the case. So I was very curious to see if there is anything that I was eating or doing throughout the day that was causing me to have blood sugar spikes or crashes or anything like that. Overall, I have very good energy throughout the day. I do not have energy crashes. I do not have cravings for sweets. I have great digestion now. So I was expecting to have like a flawless CGM chart. That was obviously wishful thinking. I don't think anybody would have a perfect CGM graph over a 2-week period. So I definitely learned some things, and I'm going to share those with you today. Basically, my key takeaways and a few surprises that were actually very shocking to me. And I'm glad that I did this experiment because it was interesting to me. And now I have some techniques that I'm using for my own blood sugar regulation that have helped me and will help me in the future. So I'm going to share those insights with you right now. The first takeaway I'm going to share with you has to do with exercise. I have definitely become more physically active over the last 6 months, even to a year. I play softball, I go to spin class, I was doing personal training with my softball team once a week. I'm going to be joining the gym soon. I recently tried Pilates, so I have been getting my exercise on, feeling strong. I also walk daily, 30 minutes, and I wanted to test how these different exercises impacted my blood sugar levels. So one that I already knew, this isn't a surprise, I'm just going to throw it in there, is that going for a walk after a meal helps balance your blood sugar levels. That wasn't a surprise. I knew that, but it was proven by wearing this CGM. So if I had lunch or dinner and then I went for like a 20-minute walk afterwards, my blood sugar levels balanced out much quicker than if I didn't. Not like I was having massive spikes usually, but the walk definitely helped regardless. What did surprise me and was a notable realization was that my spin class spiked my blood sugar levels. Not dramatically, not to the point where it was concerning and they came back down safely and I didn't have a crash, but it was just interesting to see that even though I didn't eat anything, so for context here, I had dinner around 5:30, we'll say. My blood sugar level went up a little bit, came back down, was chilling. Then I had spin class at 6:35, and my blood sugar level went back up, came back down again, went back up, came back down again throughout the class a few times. And this is because intense workouts, HIIT exercise like spin class, release stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, and this can cause temporary glucose spikes. This is totally normal, not a big concern, but it does make sense why HIIT exercise is not suggested to do like 5 days a week or something like that if you are struggling with digestion or other health issues, because it is hard on the body and stress hormones are being released. Cortisol and adrenaline are our fight or flight and stress hormones. So you are putting your body under stress. It is spiking your blood sugar levels. And I do it once a week, so I'm fine with that. I would say doing it earlier in the day would probably be better because I'm having this cortisol and adrenaline spike at like 7:30 at night when I'm trying to go to bed at like 9:30. But overall, not a huge deal. I just thought that was interesting and something I wanted to share. Insight number 2, I also shared on my Instagram. So if you want to head to @beyond.bloated on Instagram, you can see the visual for this one. I posted my CGM chart. I also posted the recipe that I used to test this. So if any of that interests you, it's posted, it's available. And this one is very near and dear to my heart because I love oats. And I get very fired up when I hear generic advice on the internet from people saying, don't eat oats. Oats are bad for you. Oats will spike your blood sugar level, as just a generic blanket statement. I, in my heart, knew that that was not true. I eat oats for breakfast almost every day. I have great energy. I do not have energy crashes. I do not get bloated after eating them. If oats were spiking my blood sugar levels, I would have all of the above symptoms. So I knew it wasn't true, but I wanted proof, and I got it. And this was not just a one-day test. As I said, I eat overnight oats or baked oatmeal or oats of some form for breakfast most days of the week. Throughout my 2-week trial period of wearing a CGM, I ate oats for breakfast several times, and not one time did my blood sugar levels spike into the red zone, where it's like that was a big old spike. It was very level. It was often more level than my lunch and my dinner. And this is because I pair my oats with protein and healthy fats. As I mentioned, I have a recipe on my Instagram page. You can go check that out. But essentially, it was rolled gluten-free organic sprouted oats with collagen powder, hemp seed protein powder, some chia seeds, cinnamon, raw honey. Hey everyone, Carly here. If you are tired of feeling bloated and uncomfortable, which I know you are, I have something that can really help. My free ultimate guide to bloat busting. I've been there myself, and I know how frustrating it is to try super restrictive diets and expensive supplements without getting results. If those methods were going to work, they would have worked by now. That's why I created this guide to offer you a different approach. In the ultimate guide to bloat busting, you'll learn techniques to listen to your body and eat with intention, avoiding overeating and choosing foods that truly benefit you, tips for proper hydration to support digestion and reduce bloating, a guide to delicious foods that promote a healthy gut and how to easily incorporate them into your meals, and effective methods to manage stress, which plays a huge role in gut health. These simple, practical strategies can make a big difference in your daily life, helping you feel lighter, more energized, and comfortable in your own skin. Ready to ditch the bloat without strict diets or costly supplements? Download your free copy today at beyondbloated.com/ultimate-guide and start your journey to a bloat-free life. Now, let's get back to it. Some cacao powder, I added almond butter, some nuts. You can get the actual recipe on my Instagram if you're curious, but the point is, oats are a carb. Yes, But if you pair carbs with protein and healthy fats, you should not have a significant blood sugar spike. Rice is a carb. Fruit is a carb. Vegetables are a carb. If you eat a banana on its own, it will probably cause a blood sugar spike. Does that mean that bananas are bad for you? No. It means eat your banana with some eggs and almond butter. It gets me fired up when people hate on oats. They're a healthy, whole food carb, just like all the other ones, especially if you buy organic and sprouted and gluten-free if you need it. So this was very satisfying to me that I ate oats for 2 weeks straight and not one time did I have a blood sugar spike. Now, everybody is different, of course, but in my experience, I'm good. The third insight that I'm going to share with you was actually the most shocking to me and the most beneficial for my sleep. This is also another great example of how generic health advice online is not true for everybody. And this one has to do with fasting. Fasting is a hot topic. Everybody thinks they should fast. I have had people on Instagram message me and ask my opinion on fasting. And to be completely honest with you, I am not a fan. I think an overnight fast of 10 to 16 hours is sufficient for most people. I think unless you have a very severe chronic health condition, maybe, yes, fasting could help you, but I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's very hard on the body, and I have proof that it is particularly not for me, at least not at this time. I am also currently listening to the audiobook Fast Like a Girl, which breaks down the differences between men and women when it comes to fasting. So if you are a woman who is interested in learning more about fasting for you, your body, and your hormones, I would suggest checking that audiobook out or the actual book. It's free on Spotify Premium, which is why I'm listening to it. I go for a walk, I listen to my audiobook, and it helps you break down fasting, like I said, for women. I think it's very informative. It's cool to learn. Would I recommend fasting for most people? Still, no. I don't think it's necessary for a lot of conditions. I think there are very rare circumstances where it is like, this is the only thing that's going to help you. I think there's a lot of other things you can do, and you don't need to not eat for 72 hours to fix that condition. I also strongly believe in eating breakfast, especially for women, within 1 to 2 hours of waking, which is another reason why I think an overnight fast is usually good enough. But enough with the reasons why I don't typically encourage fasting. Let's get to the real facts here. So as I was wearing my continuous glucose monitor, within the first 4 to 5 days, I noticed that my blood sugar levels were dropping into the red zone, which indicated that my blood sugar levels were too low. To my body, that is dangerously low. Anything below 4 millimoles per liter, which is like the standard measurement for blood sugar levels, glucose levels. The first 3 to 4 nights that I was wearing it, my blood sugar level was dropping below that 4 mark. And what happens when your blood sugar levels drop too low is your body releases cortisol and adrenaline to get those back up to safe levels. Because to your body, that's danger. Why are your levels going too low? We need to get that back up. Cortisol and adrenaline help do that. So as you can imagine, getting a surge of cortisol and adrenaline while I am sleeping at 1, 2 a.m. wakes me up. And then I am awake. I am wide awake. I'm not just woken up. I'm wide awake. I'm wired. And I have no idea why I'm awake, what woke me up. And then I checked my glucose monitor graph the next day, and I saw the dips at the exact times that I was being woken up. For the most part, this was happening because I was eating my dinner around 5:30, 6, and then I was not eating breakfast again until 8:30, 9 the next morning. And even though my dinner was balanced, I didn't have a massive blood sugar spike or anything like that, that time period was too long for me to go without fuel, because glucose is fuel for our brains, for our body. So my body was having to go into the reserve and pull out extra glucose because it needed that fuel overnight. So for me, doing a fast between 6 p.m. and 8:30 a.m. was too long. And I actually needed to have a snack before bed, which is what I tried doing. And when I did that, my blood sugar levels stayed stable overnight, and I was not woken up. And the snack was not like a bag of chips or something that was going to spike my blood sugar levels. It was a spoonful of almond butter or a rice cake with almond butter, some strawberries, and hemp hearts. You could have a hard-boiled egg, something that has a little bit of protein and a little bit of healthy fats and is easy to digest. I did that most nights, and some nights I ate dinner a little later, so I finished dinner around 7 instead of 6. And those nights I was fine. It was when I had too long of a fast that my blood sugar levels dropped too low and my body released cortisol and adrenaline to get those levels back up, and I was woken up. The other night that this happened was my fault, and I knew that it was not a good choice, but I knew I was also wearing the CGM, and I wanted to see what was going to happen. So it was actually a Wednesday night, which was when I was doing my team workouts. So I ate dinner earlier than usual, probably around 5. Then I went to my team workout at 6:45. We do weightlifting, some condition training for an hour. Then I came home and it was like 8:30, feeling a little hungry. I also just exercised, so I should fuel my body. So I had a rice cake with almond butter, hemp hearts, strawberries. That would have been fine if I stopped there. But I had also just picked up some organic corn puffs that were cooked in avocado oil. Definitely a better option than most chips, processed food, snack item things, but still not a great option for 8:30 p.m. at night. So after eating my rice cake, I decided I wanted some of the corn puffs too. And I ate quite a few. They were really good. And at 11 p.m. when I was sleeping, my blood sugar levels skyrocketed. And then they came crashing down at around 2 a.m. And I know that night I had woken up at 2 a.m. wide awake because, again, my blood sugar levels went too low. And this was a reaction to them going too high. So when our blood sugar levels spike, our bodies release insulin to bring it back down. If you have a significant spike, your body could release too much insulin, and that will bring your blood sugar levels too low. And then your body produces cortisol and adrenaline to bring them back up again. So this blood sugar roller coaster was happening between the hours of like 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. because I had corn puffs at 8:30 at night, and it definitely disrupted my sleep. I did not have a restful sleep. I was woken up and was wide awake. I couldn't fall back asleep. And looking at the chart the next morning, it made complete sense. And since then, I will not be eating organic corn puffs that late at night. The same concept applies for when you skip meals throughout the day. So if you skip lunch, that's likely too long for your body to go without fuel. So your blood sugar levels might be dropping in the afternoon, and then your body's releasing cortisol and adrenaline to get those back up. And then that can cause sugar cravings, energy crashes, moodiness, irritability, and of course, bloating. So I recommend eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack if you need one, and making sure those are balanced and eating around the same time every single day. This will help keep your blood sugar levels balanced and stable throughout the entire day, making sure you have energy, your sleep isn't disrupted, your bloating is minimized, and you aren't craving sweets and carbs and all that stuff throughout the day. My fourth and final insight that I will share with you today was my pizza experiment. Now, some people have the impression that gluten and dairy-free means healthy and you can do whatever the hell you want. That is definitely not the case. A lot of gluten and dairy-free foods are filled with sugar. They are still ultra-processed if they are packaged foods or pizza from a restaurant. And a lot of gluten-free flours and things like that are actually high glycemic. So that means that they are more likely to spike your blood sugar levels. So just because it's gluten dairy free does not mean it is healthy and you can get away with eating anything because it has the gluten dairy-free label on it. I myself am gluten and dairy-free, and at the beginning of my gluten and dairy-free journey, nearly 7 years ago, I was eating a lot of the ultra-processed, packaged gluten and dairy-free foods, and I still felt very shitty because of that. These days, I eat mainly whole foods. I eat better versions if I do buy the packaged foods, but sometimes I still get pizza. I like pizza. Pizza Friday is my favorite. I don't get it every Friday, but I would say twice a month I'll get a gluten and dairy-free pizza, and I enjoy it. I got my pizza from a local place, gluten, dairy-free. I added chicken for protein. I also added lots of veggies for fiber. There was healthy fats on there. I added olive oil. So overall, this was a balanced pizza as far as pizzas go. However, I ate 4 slices of this pizza on a Friday night, and this was the biggest blood sugar spike that I had over the 2 weeks. My blood sugar levels went over 13 millimoles per liter, biggest spike that I had in the 2-week time frame. And this was even after I had drank apple cider vinegar diluted in water before the pizza, because that can help balance your blood sugar levels. And I even got a little bit of movement afterwards. I didn't go for like a full-blown walk, but I moved around my condo and did some chores and whatnot. So what my spike would have been had I not had the apple cider vinegar and moved around a little bit afterwards, I don't know. My blood sugar levels did come back down safely, which is great. You know, I obviously have good insulin sensitivity, which yay, happy for that. I don't do these things often. If you're eating a pizza lots of times a week and your blood sugar is spiking, dropping, that is going to lead to insulin sensitivity over time. So I was glad to see that I was not having that happen. But it was still alarming to know that those pizza slices caused such a massive spike. The next day, I went to my softball tournament that we were having over the weekend, and I was sharing my data insights with my teammates because I'm a nerd and I'm telling them whether they want to hear it or not. And one of my coaches was asking, I wonder what would happen if you ate veggies and protein before you had the pizza. Do you think that would make a difference? That'd be cool to see. And I was like, that would be cool to see. So I did it. The Saturday night, I had the same pizza. I only had 2 slices left, so it wasn't as much pizza. But I still did the ACV shot in water beforehand, so that was same both times. But then I had a small portion of pan-fried veggies and a couple of spoonfuls of grass-fed beef because I had just cooked it up for my lunch for the next day. And then I had the 2 slices of pizza. Same gluten dairy-free pizza with chicken and veggies on it. And then after I ate it, I was more intentional about movement. So I walked around and I did some squats as well. And the spike was much less. It was under 9 millimoles per liter, whereas the day before it was over 13. So this was very cool to see because it is also proof that how we eat is just as important as what we eat. So taking the ACV, eating the protein and the fiber before I had the pizza, and then being more intentional about movement afterwards, and also eating not as much pizza, all impacted my blood glucose levels significantly. And that made me feel better because now I know when I have pizza, I'm going to do some of these habits ahead of time when I can. Sometimes I won't be able to, and that's okay. But if I have the ability to do some squats after the pizza or eat a little bit of veggies and protein before the pizza, and that will significantly help reduce the blood sugar spike, why wouldn't I do that? So those are my 4 main takeaways from my 2-week continuous glucose monitor experiment. Obviously, you and I are different, so my results will not be the exact same as yours, but the general principles remain the same. Eating a balanced meal, doing certain habits like getting movement after meals, or eating your veggies and proteins before eating a carb-heavy meal can all help stabilize your blood sugar levels. And if you are experiencing being woken up at 2, 3 a.m. and you don't know why, and you're wide awake, It might be because your blood sugar levels are dropping too low. So you could try having a balanced snack before bed, see if that helps you. Also ensuring that you aren't skipping meals. So you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a snack if you need one. This is one of the main habits we are working on right now in my bloat-free summer challenge, and I encourage you to do the same. And then also managing your stress, because there was also a time, I didn't even share this one with you, but I'll give you a quick glimpse. I had a very stressful day. I ate extremely quickly. I was in between meetings. I was having anxiety about a presentation I had to do, and my blood sugar levels spiked hard. And it wasn't because I didn't eat balanced. It's because I was very stressed out and I ate my meal super quickly, and that caused a blood sugar spike. The exercise you do, the stress you experience, how you eat, all impact your blood sugar levels. What you eat is important, but is absolutely not everything. Even if you missed the challenge this time around, like I said, I will be doing another one someday, I'm sure, but you don't have to wait for that. I also help my one-on-one clients with balancing their blood sugar levels, managing their stress, choosing movement that works for them and their bodies, and I would love to do the same for you. So if you are interested in getting support with those habits to help reduce bloating, have consistent energy throughout the day, reduce cravings, sleep better, then apply to my one-on-one coaching program. The link is in the show notes. You are by no means committing. It just means we're going to meet for a free 30-minute chat, see if we're a good fit. If so, we'll start balancing those blood sugar levels. I hope this was helpful for you and you can start to make some positive shifts in how you eat to feel better. And I am looking forward to talking to you next week. Did you learn something new and useful today? If the answer is a big, resounding hell yeah, do me a favor. Subscribe to this podcast. Even better, toss a rating in there too. It helps more bloated babes discover this show and lets me keep bringing you this free, gut-loving content every single week. And hey, don't be greedy. Share this episode with your bestie who's always unbuttoning her pants after dinner. She will love you even more for it. Thanks for hanging out with me and showing your gut some love. Keep on putting what you learn into practice and you will be bloat-free in no time. Catch you in the next one. Bye.